Hey, beautiful people of TikTok and YouTube. So let me explain the purpose of moon water. So when God put our creation into existence, He actually put us under a lunar calendar. In Genesis, it said God made the evening and the morning the first day. And we were under a lunar calendar up until I think the 1500s. So a lunar calendar was how we all told time from the beginning of creation. We now have a solar calendar, a sun calendar. But the moon cycles are on a 28-day schedule, just like a woman's cycle. So moon water can help anyone dealing with irregularity in the sacral chakra, such as a man with frequent urination. It can help with kidney and prostate issues. It helps to regulate and balance those areas, as well as give a positive sense of well-being, help to lower anxiety. It helps with hormone imbalances, believe it or not. And this is not meant to tell you don't go to the doctor. This is just meant to explain the positive effects of moon water. I make it, I stick it in the fridge. I strain the herbs off, I add honey, and I stick it in the fridge, and then I drink it at probably 2 to 3 cups a day, and it gives me a charge. I seriously feel it like a cup of coffee. It's very, very, to me, potent in positive energy. I feel it instantly. So we're going to go over the herbs that we're going to add. You can add whatever herbs you want. I'll explain why I'm adding these herbs. But for someone who has a lot of anxiety, for someone who has imbalances in their 7 chakras, which remember, those 7 areas are where we have more neurotransmitter receptors for our hormones. So when we get emotionally upset, whether it's grief or anger or whatever, our hormones are being released, and we can actually end up with adrenal fatigue. We can our adrenal glands can be in overload, and our 7 chakras can get imbalanced due to an overload of hormones in those areas. So it helps with all of that: calm, positivity, balancing women who deal with PCOS or a mother wound, bringing your cycle back into balance. So it has a lot of positive effects, as well as adding positive energy to your day without like the energy drink feel, but like a gush. Like, you know how when you drink a good, cool water and you're very hot, you're overloaded, and it kind of is just so refreshing. That's what it feels like. But to me, it gives me a little bit of energy. I drink it before I work out. Gives me a little bit of energy, like a cup of coffee. Okay? Let's get started. Number 1, use a glass jar. Plastic does not hold the energy or transmute it into the water, and metal will neutralize it. So you want to use a glass jar. Number 2, you want to use purified spring water. I prefer Dasani, but I picked these up over the weekend when my girls were here, so I'm not going to run out and buy Dasani. I'm going to use up what I have, but you want some type of purified water, not tap water, because of the chlorine, the fluoride, all the chemicals in tap water. Same reason why most people don't drink tap water. You want purified water. I'm going to add a tablespoon of rose petals. Rose petals for beautification. Roses are known to help the suppleness of the skin, give a glow, and help with hair and nails as well. So a tablespoon of rose petals. I'm going to add a tablespoon of rosemary. It is the cold and flu season. Rosemary has a very high charge for dried herb. I think that's why they say it has a frequency of protection. It just has a very high positive charge, or high frequency rather, for a dried herb. Very good at antiviral, antifungal effects. All the cold and flu season things you want to fight. Any of your Italian herbs would work, actually. Thyme, oregano, basil, they're all very good at the antivirals, the antibacterials, the antimicrobials. This is passion flower, and I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of passion flower. And the reason why we're going to do 2 is because passion flower is known for helping with balancing that sacral chakra area, frequent urination, women who've had a lot of kids, any imbalances there, somebody with PCOS, somebody that's dealing with up at night urinating, kidney issues, liver issues. But passion flower is also really good at regulating emotion. Passion flower is super good at regulating emotions. So for grief, anger, anxiety, anyone with any type of emotional issues they're dealing with, love loss, trauma, passion flower is amazing. So I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of passion flower. 1 tablespoon of chamomile. Chamomile is super calming. So and it's also a very good boost to the system for your antivirals, your antifungals. So calming and all the antis for being healthy in the cold and flu season. We're going to do a tablespoon of lavender. Also, lavender is super good at calming, producing a sense of well-being, and helping to regulate emotions. So a tablespoon of lavender. And the last one is very astringent and needed during this cold and flu season. This is clove bud dried. I used it in the cleaning spray that I did last night. You're only going to add a few, about a teaspoon worth of the dried clove bud. And the reason is because it's super astringent, super high in all the antis, antifungal, antibacterial, antimicrobial. So it is the powerhouse herb with the highest frequency. I think I looked it up. I can't remember what it is. I think it's the highest frequency of dried herbs. It's also the highest in ORAC values, which were those able to fight off free radicals, the antioxidants, but they removed that. They may end up removing the ability to get the frequency of different things as well. But high in all of its antiseptic and antivirals, really good for the cold and flu season. So that's the 6 herbs: chamomile, lavender, rosemary, rose petal, clove bud, and honeysuckle. I forgot. I think I put the other video up and I put the list of herbs and I forgot honeysuckle. So honeysuckle has been used, and it was used in the South back in the early 1900s for reducing body temperature. So in the summertime, they would have honeysuckle tea instead of like just regular black tea or orange black tea that they have now that we buy on the shelves. The honeysuckle not only reduces body temperature, but reduces like a fiery temper. It's super calming, and it helps also with those emotion regulation. Excuse me. So honeysuckle. All right, and then from there, we're just gonna add our purified water. Stick it underneath the moon and viola. In the morning, I'll strain off the herbs and I'll go ahead and add the honey, stick it in the fridge, and grab some when I want it. And just to let y'all know, I also am going to sell some of these dried herbs that I get in big quantities. I get huge, let me show you. I get enormous amounts of herbs, and they're all organic. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to use all this. So I use them in all my products, the organic herbs. So I may start selling those. So keep a lookout on my website, Missy'sNaturals.com. You don't want to put a lid on it and stick it outside underneath the moon. You just want to leave it open to the air, unless I guess you're by a road or some chemicals or something like that. Just give it a shake. Leave the lid off and stick it underneath the moon. And enjoy the positive frequencies from God's creation. Y'all have a good night.